may wonder, why is this guy trying to share information on food choices, nutrition, exercise, weight loss, motivation, and longevity? And what makes him qualified to do so, right? Well, I'm a 21st century educator and I lead by example. Not just in the classroom, but everywhere in life, family, friends, and on this YouTube channel. Um, through my personal journey, I want to demonstrate, not just tell, what it takes to lead a healthy, empowered life. I'm dedicating this channel to people like me who have struggled with health issues and have lost friends and family to unnecessary, well, seemingly unnecessary illness. Um, and then also losing the weight. It's good. It feels good to be getting in shape, to achieve, um, the goals, your fitness goals, right? But that also leads to other things in life. So um, I dedicated um, this to teaching essential skills that matter to everyone, regardless of their age and gender. My promise on this channel is to keep you informed and show you how to reach your fullest potential through fitness, nutrition, and sustainable health practices. This is my story. Join me as we explore how to live better. This is the journey of a man who went from a troubled youth who disliked school to becoming a 21st century educator with multiple degrees, dedicated to helping others overcome life's obstacles and achieve success. From a successful salesperson to losing everything and facing unimaginable challenges, I've rebuilt a life dedicated to health, transformation, and education. First, as a teacher, I always share quotes with my students. I like quotes because they give the gist of what the person was talking about in a small, short text version, right? So this is from Albert Einstein. Um, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Wow. Wish somebody would have told me that when I was growing up, right? The to measure intelligence is having the ability to change, right? So that you're about to learn my story, and you're about to learn that that's what I did later in life, right? When I was younger, if I would have known that, right, change and then follow through with stuff, that would have probably helped me a lot. But I had to learn the hard way, and I'm going to show you guys how you can, make the change now and achieve the benefits of it later. Okay, so just to show you guys how I've achieved success in my fitness and my weight loss goals and improve my health. These are pictures of me from the past 12 years, 11 years. And if you notice, the one on the far left on the bottom, that was in 2012, and I weighed 212 pounds, you guys. I cannot believe it. I didn't feel like I weighed 200. I didn't feel like I was that much overweight. Because now, if you look at the next picture, it says 2015, 2 years later, right? After I started going in the sauna, I changed my eating. And we'll talk about that in another video, how I changed that program, how I achieved that weight. Because I got down to 153, like in 2 years. Like that's a lot of weight. That's like 25% of myself. Like, wow, I must have been, and I remember if you look in the picture on the bottom left, you can see my face. I look a mess. I look sick. I look older than I do right now talking to you. I was 40 years old. I'm 52. Like, how do I look better now? Um, my face, the color of my skin, my body, all that, right? Um, and then if you look, so then 2015 picture, right? It was probably, I think it was the blue one in the bottom right, because I think the one in between was was when I was transforming, right? In that sense, the one in the top right. So, but the one on the left is me today, right now. Like I can take that picture right now. And the reason why I wore that shirt is because I'm a teacher and I'm not trying to worm around here taking off my shirt, okay? Because I want to be respectable for my students. But I also want to show you guys that look, I've accomplished my goals. Like that's what I do. I'm going to be going to the gym here soon. But you don't have to go to the gym every day either, by the way. I don't want you guys to think that, oh, because I'm like David Goggins, right? I try to overdo things. I get it. I get it. But he's just psyching himself out. He's just psyching himself out like I do. Psyching myself out because I overdo a lot of things. So if I if I can focus on, um, you know, if I overdo so many things, then I got to be careful on the positive things because I'll overdo those things just like I'll overdo the negative things, right? So yeah, you got to know yourself, right? So anyway, that's my transformation right there, you guys. It's pretty impressive. I'm pretty proud of myself. But now I've come to a point where I actually understand how to sustain that. So it, I went up and down 20 pounds. I was probably at 180, 170, 180, 160s, right? For years in between. So and then the 149 I'm at now, the weight, that's really, really a good weight for me. Um, but I'll go up and down. I might go up and down 5 pounds on that. Like not you're probably not down any lower, but up. Because I might have a couple of days where I might eat stuff I shouldn't eat that sticks to me. So then I got to burn it off for the next 5 days. That's how it works, really. You're gonna have to pay if you play. That's it. It just doesn't. There's no other way around it. But on the other hand, if you eat foods like I'll just load up on I'll make the healthy foods taste really well and then really good, and then I can eat more of them, right? So okay, next. All right, so this is a health wake up call, 1991 to 2003. So my journey with health challenges began early. In 1991, at 19, I tore my ACL playing basketball, and I had to have ACL reconstruction. Okay. Um, Years later, in 1998, I was in sales. I had a sales career. I injured both shoulders. I ended up going to the gym, this Gold's Gym over there. That's over there by Malibu over there. California. I was living in Southern California. There was a Gold's Gym somewhere over there, right? A small one. And I remember going in there and I see this guy. And I see this picture on the wall, and this guy, he was a yoga instructor. And I guess I was talking to him, and I guess he had crushed his leg in a car accident, and he was never supposed to be able to walk right again, and he had a major limp. So, but he was the yoga instructor, and this guy could bend over backwards. He could run. He didn't have any limp anymore. So it just showed me that yoga, there's something different um, about taking your health into your own hands, and that's when I learned that the power of yoga. So I tried yoga. Remarkably, within a couple weeks, my shoulders were fine, and I couldn't believe it. So that changed my perspective on health, revealing the body's incredible capacity to heal. Okay. Then in 2003, struggling with my own health issues, I just discovered this master herbalist smoothie recipe. Um, when I was dealing with issues like acid reflux, gout, chest pains, um, I, I, um, I had I had several things going on. I had some anxiety, a panic attack even, um, and that when the doctors they were not helping. I went several times. I went through many tests, and they tried to prescribe pills for the acid reflux. It didn't work. Fortunately, it didn't work because then I probably would have kept taking them, right? But then I ran into the medicine man, and he's told me about this recipe, this smoothie recipe, and amazing. Within a few weeks, I started taking this. I wasn't going to take the recipe. I was like, I'm not taking this smoothie. What's this? Green smoothie, right? But within a few weeks, chest pains, the gout, and the acid reflux were gone. And I know there was a couple other issues too, but those were the main ones. So um, that taught me a lot, and that made me understand the power of nutrition. In 2005, I began working as an independent contractor, selling these superfood beverages called Monavi, and one of them was called Zija, and they were really good. One of them had the acai berry in it, and the other one had the moringa oleifera leaf. And I learned the vital role of vitamins and minerals and how they can improve one's health. Um, and it deepened my commitment, to personal health through diet, and it ignited a passion for a holistic approach to wellness. This is where it gets crazy. Okay, so I worked my way up in my life to become top in my business. I was a top closer in the RV business, in the sales business. I was a top sales guy. Like I said, I had a new condo, new car, all of it, right? Um, I was doing well, and then everything crashed. So in 2008, right, the economic crash shook my world. My income was tied to the economy. So, and when it dropped to under half of what I was making, so say I was making $7,000 or $8,000 a month, which was probably close. I was doing well, really well. It went down to two or three, maybe like two. So when my bills were like three or four, my life was over. I didn't know what to do, right? So after I tried to bounce between jobs, more sales jobs, um, I was I was confused because I couldn't sell anything like I used to. People weren't buying, and my emotions were confused. The financial stress was relentless, and as before, my health deteriorated again. I developed chest pains, acid reflux, gout, and even in hernia this time. Life felt like it was falling apart. But with each setback, the seeds of resilience were planted in my heart. In 2009, I lost my grandfather, who was, at the time, I considered my best friend. He was great. We were really tight. After losing everything, right, this is where the pain really starts, right? I lost my grandfather, then I lost my livelihood, right? And then, well, I never had it, right? Come on, you never had it, right? You know, I probably was lucky to have that sales career when I had it. But anyway, so then I have a tight family. I had a tight family, right? Real close, tight family, right? My traditional family from growing up. So in 2010, December, my father suddenly passed away from septic shock unexpectedly. Blew us out of the water, the family. So then the next day, as I'm processing the information, I receive a call that my brother, I think he was 36 at the time, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and was only given 6 months to live. I was living with him at the time, right? So my dad just passed. So I said, well, since I lost my income, I'm not going to let my mom be by herself. So I moved in with her, and then um, tried to support my brother the best I could by doing all the research, reading all the books to find out how this cancer stuff works, right? Unfortunately, he fought for a year and a half and suffered tremendously. And then he lost his battle in 2012. So, but what's crazy is that my grandfather died the exact same day 3 years before. So April 29th, 2009, my grandpa died. April 29th, 2012, my brother passed away. That's interesting. But these men were so integral in my life, all three of them, you know. So my life was confusing at that point. Um, so between 2009 and 2012, that wasn't all, right? I lost a total of 15 loved ones. It's like every phone call I would receive filled me with dread and fear, that I would receive more bad news, right? Um, but I did gain clarity, learning to see life differently and valuing health and time more deeply than I ever had before, based on those painful years. So after my brother's passing in 2012, I decided to change my life by returning to college to study nutrition. My goal was to help people prevent illness, but I found that traditional college courses focus less on prevention and healing through food. Though initially discouraged, a history class on the struggles of Native and Black Americans reawakened my drive for change, leading me to shift my major from science to liberal arts and history. Around the same time, I started an organic garden growing tomatoes, squash, and other wholesome foods. I found unexpected healing in the garden. Tending to that garden nourished not only my body, but also my soul, revealing the powerful connection between nature, physical health, and emotional well-being. Gardening became my therapy, grounding me in simplicity and restoring my sense of purpose. In 2013, I committed fully to organic living, despite the scarcity of options at the time. I knew that investing in my health was worth every challenge. Driven by a desire to help others, I launched my business, guiding people to reclaim their health through nutrition. By 2020, I expanded the mission by selling garden boxes at the farmers market just to inspire people to grow their own food and for me to keep my sanity during the pandemic. The journey was about reconnecting people with the transformative act of cultivating and consuming organic whole foods. Okay, so trying to overcome adversity and improve my health at the same time, right? Um, I continued for many years pursuing knowledge, right? So 2009 to 2019 to today, I've expanded my education significantly. Building on my bachelor's degree in history, I also completed 3 master's degrees in education. I received a master herbologist certificate from the Center of Excellence, and I also studied strength training as I am certified from the NSCA as well. These studies have enriched my knowledge of health, nutrition, and physical resilience, equipping me not only to educate my students as a history teacher and PE coach, but also to guide anyone seeking health and wellness insights. Okay, so in conclusion, right, um, and in a quick summary, right? So I was raised in Southern California, right, in a traditional household. I had a great dad, a great mom, an awesome brother and sister, right? They were younger than me, right? But then didn't really experience too much death, too many health issues. When I was younger, I remember my dad did have a blood disorder, but other than that, we didn't really experience anything else until we got older. And so then my brother and my sister got in their 30s. Um, so my brother, he got cancer, but then my sister also got cancer, you guys. So I didn't talk about that yet. Um, so she fought for 7 years. My brother fought for a year and a half. He had 4-stage cancer. My sister had 2nd-stage breast cancer, and she fought for 7 years. She went organic. She stopped eating sugar, and it helped her. The doctors were blown away that she lived so long. Point is that with that part is that life keeps going, but I keep getting in shape. I keep trying to help my students at work, right? And I keep just trying to make myself better because that's all life is. That's all you can really do, right? So you have to keep going, and then you can help others. So now that I've made, establish myself, help, make sure that I'm stable, make sure that I'm hopefully healthy, and all that. Now I can help my friends and my family, right? But I can't do that if I'm struggling. They're going to need to help me, you know. I think there's an African proverb. It said, be a rock or be a mountain or lean on one, right? I prefer to be the mountain. It's more than a collection of videos, right? You will see videos. You're going to see exercise videos that I've already posted, and maybe some recipes and a couple other things. It's my mission, okay, to help people avoid, what I have watched my brother, my sister, and I'm not saying that changing their diet would have helped them. Maybe it's just the way it was supposed to be, but from what I've studied too, the genetic part and all that stuff, um, that's just you might have weaknesses in areas, but if you eat right and you stay healthy, your body, it seems like it might be able to handle that stuff. Maybe, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say 100%, but it's helped me. That's what's happened to me. That's why I'm here right now. Um, so I'm going to share insights, on health. I'm going to give you guys meal plans. That way you're going to be able to do it yourself. Because you can't be having, you can have somebody help you, but the way I've learned is that I had to do everything myself. And then once I realized that, I said, okay, well, let me just make it easy. So now it's easy. Um, I'm going to provide workouts. There's already some on the description page. You can download free workouts right now. You can also see the videos of me working out. Um, and then I also am going to show you guys the research based to show you guys why it's important. Because I want you guys to be able to increase longevity.